good evening, and welcome to another episode of ASMRspire. I'd like to take a moment here and thank my subscribers. Currently, there aren't very many, but they motivate me to keep making content. Just seeing one person down there who gets enjoyment from my videos is enough for me to be satisfied and try and make a steady stream of content. As this channel evolves, as you've seen, we've adjusted sound levels, and that's something that we will constantly be working on, but it's a personal goal of mine that when I upload episode 5, I'll have maybe like a theme. I'm not sure what we want to call it. Just a basic outline for how the videos should go. In my most recent video, I think I touched on something I'd like to further do, which is not so much life advice. I'm certainly not in a position to do that, but perhaps just starting each episode out with a little message. And that's what I'd like to do here today with this one. I think a lot of people, they struggle to relax because they feel uncertain with themselves, what they are contributing, if what they're doing is enough, that constant feeling that it isn't enough. And I just want to reaffirm everyone that there's something you do every day that makes an impact upon this world. It may not be global, but I guarantee you there's an action that you've done that changed someone else's world. For instance, just watching this video has changed mine. Whether it was today or tomorrow, and or in a few years from now and you stumble across it, I gotta say, I sit there and I refresh the page throughout the day, and when I see the view count just go up by a measly one view, they might not have even watched the whole thing, just a second or two, it really puts a smile on my face. So, there are plenty of things that you are doing that make the world better. But enough with the mushy stuff. We're here to ASMR this spire, and we will focus a little more on better decision making, we'll call it. We can't have every episode end in a loss, so let's get a win today. Just like life, not every day is a winner, but we're gonna make sure that we get one today moving forward. So we're gonna play, and we're gonna do a standard. Since the last time we played silent, I think this time we'll play ironclad. And we're gonna do Ascension level 1. Again, that spawns more elites, which ultimately gives us the ability to gather more relics. I think relics make the game a little more interesting. You'll see a lot of YouTube channels that aren't ASMR focused run Ascension level 1, and that's mostly for the viewer's enjoyment. So although we're here to relax, we also want to make this fun for you guys. Sometimes I listen to ASMR just throughout the day. It's just calming for me. I'm not necessarily trying to sleep. So let's embark on this quest and talk to our three-eyed whale friend. Act 1, Exordium. Hello again. Let's talk to him. At least confront the first boss. looks like when I wasn't recording, I must have been trying something new. So I think we fought the first boss in my video, but I can't recall. Like always, we're going to take a look at our map here, and we're going to try and pick the route that has the most elites, along with the most question marks. So we've got one elite here. This would be the second elite for that path. And this would be a third elite for that path. Alternatively, we could go over here to get a third elite. And I think over here we just have two. We've got one, two. Yeah, it looks like the right side of the map we're going to avoid. So we're going to go up and to the left again, gathering the most unknown rooms, these question marks here, as we go. So let's begin. In our first fight, we will be against a spike slime small and an acid slime medium. If you remember, the ironclad heals 6 HP at the end of each combat, so we can afford to take some damage. However, that doesn't mean we want to take all of the damage. We have a total of 12 damage coming at us, and we can defend for a total of 5. I apologize, defend for a total of 10. 5 each here. Additionally, we can deal a total of 18 damage if we wanted to, and that would wipe out this 5 here. So we're going to attack for 6, another 6, and defend. This way we'll only take 2 damage. Now the ironclad comes with some unique cards, one of them being Bash. Deal 8 damage and apply to vulnerable. Vulnerable creatures take 50% more damage from attacks. And moving forward, whenever we see apply X number of a particular buff, that means for the number of turns. So for instance, we're on turn 2 right now. So we're going to apply to vulnerable. Deal 9 damage instead of 6, and end our turn. Our slime friend is going to do something. Looks like he weakened us for 1 turn, and over here you can see he has 1 more turn left of vulnerable. Well, we deal 6 damage to him once, and 6 damage to him twice, and he's gone. We heal back up to full health, and we get our loot, which is 20 gold, an energy potion, where we gain 2 energy when it's consumed, and we can add a card to our deck. The first card we add to our deck can really set the mood for the run, so let's take a look. We have Thunderclap, deal 4 damage and apply 1 vulnerable to all enemies. Pummel, deal 2 damage 4 times and exhaust it. Exhaust means it's removed until the end of combat, so we can play that card once per combat room. And Wild Strike, deal 12 damage and shuffle a wound into your draw pile. Wounds are unplayable status cards. Well, Thunderclap is one of my favorites. When we upgrade it, it deals 7 damage instead of 4, and applying vulnerable across the board for only 1 energy is very helpful and useful. You saw earlier we applied vulnerable and we had to use Bash, which cost 2 energy. So if we get stronger attacks that might cost 2, we'd be in a position where we can't play both our vulnerable card and the strong attack. So we're going to take Thunderclap. We'll go to our first unknown room. As you make your way down a long corridor, you see a banana, a donut, and a box floating about. No, upon closer inspection, they are tied to strings coming from holes in the ceiling. There is a quiet cackling from above as you approach the objects. What do you do? The banana will heal 26 HP, but we have full health. The donut will add 5 HP to our max, so we'll be at 85. Or we can receive a relic and become cursed. We would gain regret in our deck. Regret reads that it's unplayable. At the end of your turn, lose 1 HP for each card in your hand. I don't very much like being cursed, so let's eat ourselves a donut and gain 5 health. You eat the donut. It really hits the spot. Your max HP increases. Well, I can tell you whenever I eat a donut, I definitely increase in size. So we'll go to our next unknown room. You walk into a room to find a large hole in the ground. As you approach the hole, an enormous serpent creature appears from within. Ho ho! Hello, hello! What have we got here? Hello, adventurer. I ask a simple question. The most fulfilling of lives is that in which you can buy anything. Do you agree? If we agree, we become cursed with doubt. It's unplayable at the end of our turn, and we gain 1 week. However, if we agree with him, he'll give us 175 gold. If you disagree with him, nothing happens. The most fulfilling of lives is that in which you can buy anything. Do you agree? Well, back to some of those affirmations. I think we are going to disagree. There are plenty of things in life that make it fulfilling other than money. The serpent stares at you with a look of extreme disappointment, and we leave. If there was a large sound, it's because I was unable to edit it out of the video, and that is the tragedy of owning some kitty cats who like to run around at night when I'm recording. I think they have the YouTube itch. A lot of recordings sort of go down the drain thanks to them. But that's alright. Now we'll fight the next enemy. We're against Louse and another Louse. They have a buff where once you hit them, they curl up on it. They roll up and gain a certain number of block. This one will gain 3 and this one will gain 5. So a good way to think of this is that he has 14 health and he has 18 health. So we know we can deal 18 damage with our 3 strikes. So we're going to get rid of the heavy hitter here in the front. We will deliberately take this 5 damage, but we know it's okay because we'll heal 6 at the end of combat. We'll end this turn and have a little bug hit us in the face. He's charging up now with something. We don't need to worry about defending. So we will weaken him, hit him once, and hit him twice. We've healed up. We get 13 gold, a block potion where we gain 12 block, and we get to add another card to our deck. We can use Clash, which costs 0, can only be played if every card in your hand is an attack. Deal 14 damage. Havoc, play the top card of your draw pile and exhaust it. Headbutt, deal 9 damage, place a card from your discard pile on top of your draw pile. Well, I said we'd play a little more carefully this time around, and I meant that, but we will be taking Clash here. At worst, it's just a card that we can't play, but at best, it's a free 14 damage, and currently we draw 5 cards at a time, and I can only ever play 3 of them, so drawing a card that I can't play still gives me 4 other cards to choose from. So we'll grab that and proceed. One strategy to win is to get as many clashes in your deck as possible, and that way as they cycle through, you just get to play a bunch of free attacks. We'll go to another unknown room. You come across an inconspicuous pedestal with a shining gold idol sitting peacefully atop. It looks incredibly valuable. You sure don't see any traps nearby. Well, if we don't see any traps, we should probably take it, right? Let's do that. Oh, goodness. As you grab the idol and stow it away, a giant boulder smashes through the ceiling into the ground next to you. You realize that the floor is slanted downward as the boulder starts rolling towards you. We can outrun and injure ourselves. It's a curse that's unplayable, just an empty card in our hand. We can smash the boulder and take 21 damage. Or we can hide and lose 6 max HP because we were a little scared. Well, I certainly can't outrun it after that donut I ate. I could smash it and take 21 damage. But losing 6 max HP won't hurt me very much at all since I did eat that donut. It'll lower me down to 79, which is really only losing 1 max HP. So, when I lose this run because of 1 HP, we can all remember this moment. I'm gonna hide. Squish! The boulder flattens you a little as it passes by, but otherwise, you can get out of here. Let's leave. That encounter, we picked up the golden idol. Enemies drop 25% more gold, while elites drop lots of gold, and there's a shop right after him. So let's go and take a fight to them. We are fighting Lagavulin. I attempted to read this enemy's name in a previous episode, and hopefully I got it right at least one of these times. He's asleep, and he has a buff called Metallicize, where he gains 8 block at the end of their turn. Now I know from experience he sleeps for 3 turns. What we're looking for here is to find a bash so we can apply vulnerable to him for multiple turns while he's sleeping. So that was turn number 1, and he stayed asleep. Now we're going to bash him, and we've applied 2 vulnerable. The goal is the next cards that we draw will have at least 3 different attacks in there, because that way we have full energy, and we can take full advantage of our vulnerability that we placed on him. He stays asleep, and look, we get to play Clash. I don't think we could have gotten a better hand. So we're going to hit him with Clash. Strike. Strike. And strike. We took him down 40 hit points, thanks to vulnerability. Now, I don't know about you, but when I wake up in the morning from getting hit on the head with a sword, I hit back kind of hard. So, we're going to Bash and Thunderclap, but we'll use our block potion to gain 12 block. That way we've only taken 6 damage this fight, and hopefully we can heal it up at the end. We want to put that vulnerability on him though, so that way we can try and get him down as quickly as possible. Here we'll strike, and defend. And I think, is it worth 2 energy to take 13 damage? I don't think so. I think we'll take the damage. We got lucky again with our clash. I think we should get him down. There we go. So we healed up to 66 HP out of our 79. We got 30 gold plus 8 thanks to our golden idol. A tiny chest, we gain 30 gold, and we are 10% more likely to find treasure in question mark rooms. And we get to add a card to our deck. Rage, whenever you play an attack this turn, gain 3 block. Fiend Fire, exhaust your hand and deal 7 damage for each exhausted card, and then this gets exhausted as well. Twin Strike, deal 5 damage twice. Well, 0 cost cards never really hurt unless you, well, they can hurt, but in this case I don't think it will. Since we've already picked up 2 attack cards, I think we'll pick up Rage. So whenever we play an attack, we'll gain 3 block. And maybe this way we can get rid of some of the defense in our deck and be aggressive while also defending ourselves. We'll go to a shop and see what he has to offer. Welcome. Welcome, Mr. Shopkeep. Welcome, welcome. Well, I'm going to go over the relics that are available and what the cards not so much. That'll just be a little too much to read each time we stop at a shop, but I do think it's important to see the relics that are available. We Bird-Faced Urn. Whenever you play a power, you heal 2 HP. Well, we have a power over here called Inflame that gains 2 strength when we play it. Powers are cards that once you play, they exhaust essentially from your hand and are applied directly to your character. However, they don't truly exhaust because cards that were to bring back anything that got burnt away will not bring back a power. Do Vu Doll. For each curse in your deck, start each combat with 1 additional strength. And we know what curses are. Strength, of course, is just flat extra damage to your various attacks. Singing Bowl. When adding cards to your deck, you may gain 2 max HP instead, and that's for 153. It's the only relic we can afford, or we could remove a card from our deck. Well, we're going to opt for the Singing Bowl, because I don't want my deck to get huge, and although I haven't passed up the opportunity to take any cards yet, I will in the future. And this is essentially healing me at the end of every fight and increasing my overall health pool. So we'll take that. We can't afford much anything else except Clothesline, where we deal 12 damage and apply 2 weak for 2 energy. But that's a little heavy of a cost for us, so we'll just leave for now. Thank you, Mr. Shopkeep, and we'll see you again. Here at the bonfire, I don't think we'll rest. Instead, we're going to smith a card. We could smith Rage, so we gain 5 block per turn. Clash, so it deals 18 damage instead of 14. Or Thunderclap, so we deal 7 damage and apply 1 vulnerable to all enemies. Increasing this card's damage by 3 is potentially increasing our overall damage in a fight by 9. You never... Oh, that's not true. There are some fights where there are 5 enemies, so it would increase our overall fight by 15 damage. Right? 3 times 5 is 15. Yep. I think we'll go with Thunderclap. Let's confirm, hammer away, and proceed. Here we have the option to go down 2 different treasure chests. Over here there's plenty of question marks, but there's an elite coming up and I can get another relic. So I think we'll go that way. We got Bottled Lightning. Upon pickup, choose a skill card. At the start of each combat, that card will be in your hand. Well, we can either have a defend, rage, and that's about it. Ideally, we get rid of these defends and we pick up another rage along with some more attacks. So I'm going to take rage, so that way when I remove it from my deck, or when I remove defense from my deck, I don't waste my Bottled Lightning perk here. And now we get to fight sentries. We're going to cast Rage to gain some block, and we're going to hit the lowest HP sentry that's either on the front or the back, because they cycle between hurting us and hurting our deck. So it's important that we get rid of one of the 2 that are on the same cycle. So we'll hit this guy in the back since he has 38 health. We'll clash, strike, strike, and strike, and end our turn. Thanks to Rage, we gained 12 block, and we'll block all 8 damage that we take here. And they are adding a card called Daze to our discard pile. Daze just mucks up your hands and then they disappear at the end. We'll Thunderclap and avoid 10 damage there, or 8 damage there. And we will defend twice, so that way we can avoid this 8 damage as well. You get extra points at the end of the whole run if you can defeat elites without taking any damage. It's called perfecting, and that's what we're trying to do here. So we're going to defend once, defend twice, and then we'll hit the one with the lower HP. As you can see, here's this Daze. It's unplayable, but it's also ethereal. Ethereal means if this card is in your hand at the end of a turn, it is exhausted. Exhausted cards are removed from your deck until the end of combat. So we'll end our turn, and we'll see it go up in smoke. We're going to block this 8 damage that's incoming, and draw. And now you can see the danger of Daze and Clash being in your deck. Because Daze is here and I can't play it, I also can never play my Clash, and it's going to be very unlikely I'll get to play this again. We'll defend and strike, because it's all that we can do, and end our turn. Now we've gotten hit for 3 damage. We're no longer perfecting this fight. However, we haven't lost overall health yet, because we will heal for 6. So I'll block. And I'm going to bash. Who do I want to bash? What's my next hand going to contain? A strike, a thunderclap, and a rage. I guess I will bash this back guy, because my thunderclap will take care of both of them, dealing damage. And since it deals 7 damage, plus 50% of that, it'll knock this guy out in the back, and my rage will help protect me here. I think we're going to end up leaving this fight a little worse for wear, but not by much. We just need to get some attacks in our next hand, and we can walk out of here with a new relic. Let's bash and strike. Let's see what we get. 35 gold plus 9, thanks to our golden idol. An ancient tea set. Whenever you enter a rest site, start the next combat with 2 extra energy. Now that's a great perk, especially because every boss has a rest site right before them. So every boss fight, we will start the next combat with 2 extra energy. We'll also see if we want to add a card to our deck, and there is that second rage that we wanted. So we're going to take that and proceed. The only other card that I believe was there that we have not read yet is called True Grit. It was in the middle. True Grit will randomly exhaust a card in your hand and give you 7 block. That other card to the right was called Uppercut, and we've seen that before. It deals a base damage and also applies vulnerability, I believe, to the enemy. I could be wrong. I don't think it's weakened because Clothesline is weakened, so I think Uppercut is vulnerability. But I do apologize. I didn't mean to rush through those cards there. I like to make sure no one feels like things were missed out on. We'll go into an enemy combat now. And we'll be fighting a Jaw Worm. We'll cast Rage, so that way we can gain some block. And if we cast 3 strikes, we'll gain 9 block, which should help us. It's tempting to make him vulnerable. However, we want to protect ourselves as much as possible from this 11 damage. So we'll do the strikes instead. Get some more block out of it. Rage is 0 cost, so we might as well play it, but this is an example of what I was saying about 0 cost cards for us right now. We drew 5, and we'd never be able to play all of these, so we'll cast Rage no matter what. Cast Thunderclap, and if he was attacking, we'd be able to cast 2 defense, but there's no reason right now to do that. We're going to cast 2 defense, because he's dealing 14 damage, but this also means that we can now cast our Clash. Previously we couldn't because our hand had those defense in it, but now we only have attacks. So we'll Clash, Strike, and we will take 4 damage instead of drinking our potion here. We're hovering around the low 60s by the end of each fight, so I think that's alright. We get 15 gold and an opportunity to add another card to our deck. Body Slam, deal damage equal to your current block. Carnage, it's ethereal, and we deal 20 damage with that. Perfected Strike, deal 6 damage, and deals an additional 2 damage for all of the cards containing the word strike. We haven't gotten rid of any of our strikes, so this card wouldn't hurt us. We do have 2 rages, so we want to start adding attacks to our deck, but Rage really rewards low cost attacks, and with this costing 2 as well as Carnage Cat costing 2, I think we will use our Singing Bowl for the first time here and add 2 max HP to our health pool and proceed. Fight our next enemy, who happens to be a Slaver. We're going to cast both of our rages because they're 0 cost cards. And here's an example, can only be played if every card in your hand is an attack. Well, it won't let me do that right now because I have these rage cards. And because the universe is funny, it knew that I talked about the 0 cost cards not affecting us. We'll cast our 0-cost cards right now, but as you can see we have 1 extra energy, and it's because we happen to get all 3 of them in one hand, which is a little unlikely, but at least we got to block all 12 of this damage. I like these green flames in the background. I never noticed them until I slowed down and paid attention. If we deal 8 damage with Bash, this will deal 9 damage. 8 plus 9 is 17. We won't be able to stop all the damage. So instead I'm going to defend for 5 and hit him twice. We're going to take a little bit of damage here, but we'll heal it up. Thunderclap, strike. 14 gold, and we get a chance to add a card. Here's that True Grit card I mentioned. Gain 7 block and exhaust a random card. Another Perfected Strike, so with the benefit of hindsight, it would have been nice to pick up that other Perfected Strike and start adding as many as I could into my deck, but we're going to skip that for now. And Cleave, deal 8 damage to all enemies. It only costs 1 energy, and I do think decks benefit from having a few area of effect sources. So I think we'll take Cleave and proceed. It's another attack, so our Clash might be more playable in future hands, as well as it's low cost, so it helps our Rage cards give us more armor. We could fight an elite right now, but afterwards we'd have to fight another enemy. Instead, I'm going to go to an unknown room, because there's an elite down the road for me later. And this happens to be a shop. Let's see what he has. He has a Molten Egg. Whenever you add an attack card to your deck, it's upgraded, which is what we do with the bonfires, but that would prevent us from having to do it. Pentagraph. At the start of boss combats, heal 25 HP. Anchor. Start each combat with 10 block. I can't afford any of those, but this gives you an idea of the other relics that are out there. All of these cards I'm going to skip over, and instead I will remove a card from my deck, and it will be one of the defends. With 2 rages in our deck, we don't need as many defends, so we'll start slowly letting those go. And let's fight our elite, the Gremlin Knob. We'll cast our Rage, Clash, Strike, Strike, and Strike. End our turn, and we'll see him with his very angry yell. He hasn't found an ASMR channel that he likes yet. It's a little rough. We'll Thunderclap and Bash, because if we cast any of these defense, he'll gain strength due to a buff he just gave himself called Enrage. End our turn. Taking 6 damage won't be a big deal, thanks to our Burning Blood. Here, we'll Thunderclap again. Strike. Cleave. And that's the end of that fight. 28 gold, plus an additional 7. Whetstone, upon pickup, upgrade 2 random attacks. We're not going to touch this just yet. We got a dexterity potion where we gain 2 dexterity. That adds a flat 2 to any cards that directly apply block to us. So it won't really benefit our rage cards, but it would benefit our defend. The reason why we're going to leave Whetstone for now is we want to see what cards we add to our deck. Maybe it's an attack that we'd like to see get upgraded. So let's find out. We've got Twin Strike, deal 5 damage twice. Anger, deal 5 damage. Add a copy of this card to your discard pile. And Pommel Strike, deal 9 damage and draw 1 card. I think we're going to add max HP right now and not worry about picking up a new card. Then we'll pick up our whetstone and we're going to cross our fingers. We want to see cleave, we want to see clash, and we sort of want to see bash. Not so much, but it's better than a strike getting upgraded. Let's see what we get. There's our cleave. So that worked out nicely. We're still pretty healthy, so we're going to smith instead of rest. And I think we're going to smith our rage that is guaranteed to be in our hand at the opening turn, thanks to bottled lightning. Now, Slime Boss here does not attack for the first 2 turns. However, we need to deal as much damage to him as we can, because he will split when his HP is at 50% or below. We'll cast our Rage, so that way we can use our Clash. And then we'll cast everything in our hand and deal as much damage as we can. We probably should have slowed down a bit. Shame on me, this is meant to be slow and relaxing, and I just got too excited, and we know how it goes. We got him below his 50% mark, so now he's going to split. And he'll split into 2 monsters that have 54 HP, and if I had just waited for my next hand, I might have been able to make him split at a lower health. So, we're going to bash and strike, and we're going to drink both of our potions, so that way I can defend a good portion of that damage coming my way. What will Thunderclap do? Thunderclap will bring him below 50%, but I think I'm just going to clean up my deck a little bit here. We're going to cast both of our rages, get the slime out of our hand. Cast Clash. Goodness. We're going to end our turn. I want to be able to deal a lot of damage to one of them before they split. That might have been a mistake, but we'll see. Well, we'll just strike, end our turn. That was probably a mistake as well, but it is what it is. Here we can cleave. We're going to defend, get rid of a slime, and use Clash on him. That way when he splits with only 213 health mobs. We'll thunderclap everyone. Defend and strike. Now at the end of boss fights, we get all of our health back, so we just need to survive until the end, which I think will we'll do right now. There we go. Only 2 bad guys left. We just need to be able to deal 22 damage before they can deal 18 together. We'll cast our Rage, our Cleave, and 2 Defense, and only take 1 damage from each of them. That fight could have gone a lot smoother, but oh goodness, we're still not done. Oh, there we go. Get rid of the guy who's attacking. And then strike. And that is our first boss down. Act 1 is complete. We get our reward of 103 gold plus 26. And we will add a rare card to our deck, a gold card, and let's see what they are. Feed, deal 10 damage. If this kills a non-minion enemy, gain 3 permanent max HP and exhaust. Limit Break, double your strength and exhaust. And Brutality, at the start of your turn, lose 1 HP and draw 1 card. We're going to take Feed here. We already have Singing Bowl to increase our max HP, and Feed will help us increase it that much more. Let's see how big of an HP pool we can get by the end of this. Also, it wouldn't be a boss fight if we didn't get a boss relic. We're going to have 3 to pick from here, and let's see what they are. Philosopher's Stone. Gain an energy at the start of each turn, but all enemies will have 2 strength. Pandora's Box. Transform all strikes and defense. And Runic Cube. When you lose HP, draw 1 card. Well, the extra energy would be nice, but we have a lot of low-cost cards in our deck, and we don't really need it. Also, I don't want to make everything I fight stronger. Transforming cards is exciting. However, we already got rid of one of our defense, so this is a little weaker than it normally would be as an item. Additionally, with our deck having cards like Clash and Rage, what we risk happening is we transform our cards and they're no longer attacks, making both our Rage and our Clash less valuable. We're trying to build a deck around both of them, so we're going to skip Pandora's Box and take Runic Cube instead. Whenever you lose HP, draw 1 card. That'll be helpful with the 0-cost cards in our deck. Drawing more won't necessarily hurt us, and we could get cards that are playable even though we're not increasing our max energy. So let's take Runic Cube. Like previous episodes, we're going to end this recording on Act 1. Before I go into Act 2, I'll do a little recap on what we've done today, and then we'll proceed. This gives me a chance to review the video, see areas where I think I could improve, and try and make adjustments. We had that little cat incident that hopefully I'll be able to edit out, as well as some clicking and things creaking around my home as the day cools down. In sticking with a format for my episodes, I'd like to again address the message that I started with. If you are feeling stressed or upset regarding what you're contributing to this world, take a moment and think about if you made anyone smile today. I'm sure you glanced at someone, spoke to them, thanked them, or caught their eye and were able to exchange a smile. And that contributed a lot more than you think. Even if you were in your home all day on the computer and never interacted with anyone face to face, there was a comment that you wrote, something that you read, again, even watching a YouTube video made somebody else's day. So, I hope you can rest easy. Remind yourself that what you do is important. It might not seem important to you, but it was important to somebody. Thank you again for listening to my channel. In the comments section, please tell me what I can do to improve your ASMR experience. I believe I went a little fast during this video, and normally I don't think I would post it, except, again, I have 3 subscribers, and that's 3 people I feel like I can provide for with this video. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and this is ASMRspire.